Panchen Lama is one of the most important religious figures in Tibet. Traditionally, the Panchen Lama plays an important role in recognizing the reincarnation of the Dalai Lama. The practice of the Dalai Lama and Panchen Lama recognizing each other's incarnate began in the early 17th century, when Lobsang Chökyi Gyaltsen, the abbot of Panchen Lama Monastery, became the tutor and close ally of the great fifth Dalai Lama. He was given the title Panchen Lama by the fifth Dalai Lama, which means great scholar. The Dalai Lamas and the Panchen Lamas share a unique and remarkable spiritual bond and are referred to as Gyawa Yapse Nyi, or the great father-son duo. Both of them are revered as the two highest spiritual leaders of the Gelugpa school of Tibetan Buddhism. The 10th Panchen Lama remained in Tibet after the invasion and occupation of Tibet by Communist China in 1949. The large-scale destruction, damage, and suffering caused by the Chinese government compelled him to write the 70,000-character petition, a scathing critique of China's policies in Tibet. Mao Zedong denounced the document as a poison arrow aimed at the heart of the party by reactionary feudal overlords. The 10th Panchen Lama was stripped of all posts, publicly humiliated, arrested, and spent 14 years in prison. Even after his release, he continued to criticize the excesses of the Cultural Revolution in Tibet. The 10th Panchen Lama died under mysterious circumstances in 1989 at the age of 51. He left behind a lasting legacy of preserving, rebuilding, and reviving Tibetan identity, language, and culture. The search for the 11th Panchen Lama began in 1991. The Chinese government formed a search committee led by Chade Rinpoche, abbot of Panchen Lama Monastery. Chade Rinpoche, in keeping with centuries-old tradition where the reincarnation of the Panchen Lama required a formal recognition by the Dalai Lama, communicated with the Dalai Lama and also mentioned Gendu Chökyi Nyima, the preferred candidate of the search committee. The Dalai Lama, after performing necessary prayers and rituals, endorsed the search committee's choice. On May 14, 1995, the Dalai Lama publicly announced Gendu Chökyi Nyima as the 11th Panchen Lama.
I thought very seriously about the timing of announcement. Firstly, because the Panchen Lama's reincarnation became clear inside Tibet, he is inside Tibet, under Chinese control. So therefore, whether we like it or not, we have to we have to work through Chinese government. Then about to announce, this is my final sort of decision, I also informed Chinese government. Then it's an indication they are very furious.
The Chinese government rejected the Dalai Lama's choice and responded by abducting Gendu Chökyi Nyima on 17 May 1995. The 11th Panchen Lama was just 6 years old and became the world's youngest political prisoner. His family members were taken away as well. The 11th Panchen Lama and his family have not been seen in public since. Chade Rinpoche was also arrested and imprisoned. He died of poisoning in 2011. On 29 November 1995, the Chinese government held a ceremony to select their Panchen Lama using the Golden Urn method. Gyaltsen Nobu from Napchu was picked and installed as the Chinese 11th Panchen Lama. The Dalai Lama and the Tibet people denounced the Chinese selection. On April 8, 2011, the United Nations Working Group on Enforced and Involuntary Disappearances publicly stated they, the Chinese authorities, have continually refused to divulge any information about him or his whereabouts, making his case an enforced disappearance. Tibetans, international organizations, and many governments have called for the Panchen Lama and his family's immediate release and freedom.
Indeed, he is not a reincarnation of the Panchen Lama but an ordinary Chinese citizen. He received free compulsory education as a child, passed the college entrance examination and now has a job. He and his family do not want their routine life to be disturbed by the outside world and hope that relevant parties will fully understand and respect their will.
Beijing has steadfastly refused to divulge any information on the 11th Panchen Lama's whereabouts. This is the only picture of Genden Shuki Nyima taken when he was 6 years old. The International Tibet Network commissioned Tim Whitten, a UK-based forensic artist, to produce an age-processed image of the 11th Panchen Lama as he turned 30. This is how the Panchen Lama might look now. The image premiered on The One Show, a primetime BBC TV program on April 25, 2019, on the Panchen Lama's 30th birthday. The world must hold the Chinese government accountable for its actions on the 11th Panchen Lama. Failure to do so will embolden Beijing to continue trampling on the rights of the Tibetan people, including interfering in the selection of the next Dalai Lama. Today is the 11th Panchen Lama's 34th birthday, and he has already spent 28 years of his life in captivity. The world